Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to really get under the surface of things that matter. And today, we're tackling something absolutely crucial if you're trying to build solid professional relationships. The topic is why most proposals fail to build real trust. You know that feeling, don't you? You put in the work, you understand the client, or you think you do. You craft a solution, hit send, and then maybe nothing. Or just, a polite no thanks. It can be really frustrating. So why do so many proposals, even really well-meaning ones with good ideas, just fail to connect? Fail to build that fundamental trust? That's our mission today. We want to unpack what's often missing, what gets mishandled, that actually undermines trust. And then, importantly, figure out how to flip that. How to make proposals that scream genuine value, real service, real connection, the kind that lead to proper partnerships.
It's such a critical conversation because trust, well, it's not just a nice to have, is it? It's everything. It's the absolute bedrock of any good long-term collaboration. Without it, the best ideas just wither. And what's really interesting, I think, is that this trust breakdown, it often doesn't stem from a lack of skill or capability. It comes from fundamental slip-ups in the process,
Right.
in how the proposal is put together and presented. We're going to look at 7 key areas where that trust often just evaporates, and crucially, how you can actively build it instead.
Okay, let's dive into number one then, because this feels so common. It's the proposal that just feels generic. Like a copy-paste job, that lack of genuine understanding. You read it and immediately think, wait, they actually listen to me?
Yeah.
Why does that happen? What's behind that immediate disconnect?
Oh, that template feel, it's a huge trust killer instantly because it signals you haven't really absorbed the client's specific world, their unique context. Often it boils down to discovery that was, well, maybe too shallow or just not documented well enough. It's not enough just to have the conversation. You need to really internalize those insights. The proposal, ideally, should feel like a mirror, reflecting their issues, their hopes back at them in their language.
Reflecting it back. So how do you build trust on this specific point? What are the practical steps?
Okay, 3 key things here. First, you absolutely have to meticulously review your conversation notes. And I mean really review them. Go beyond just facts. Look for the key insights, the actual challenges they voiced, the goals they shared, the nuance. If your proposal doesn't directly reference these specific things, it screams, I wasn't really listening. Echoing their words back, that shows deep understanding. It's validating.
Validation.
Second, you've got to clearly map out their transformation goals. What specific changes do they want? What does success look like for them? It's not about your activities, it's about their desired outcomes. If the proposal doesn't paint that future picture, it feels, well, irrelevant.
Like selling the drill, not the hole.
Exactly. And third, and this is vital, document the success metrics. Together, ideally. Define those measurable indicators that show progress, show value. It's not just about accountability later. It helps the client visualize success right from the start. Makes it feel less like a risk, more like a plan.
That makes perfect sense. Shifting from just data to actual empathy and a shared vision. Okay, now this is where it gets tricky, I think, even if you do understand them deeply. The next hurdle is, how do you actually show that value? Show it in a way that builds confidence, not confusion. This is where proposals often talk about features, not benefits.
Right. Precisely. This is failure point 2. The unclear or irrelevant value proposition. So many proposals stumble here. They list generic benefits. We save time. We drive growth. It's too broad. Trust really grows when the client reads it and thinks, yes, that's me, that's my problem, that's the future I want. It has to be about their specific transformation, not just your general capabilities.
So how do we nail that? How do we articulate value in a trust-building way?
Right. Again, let's break it down. First, craft client-specific value statements. No boilerplate. Describe exactly how your solution tackles their unique issues, using their language, reflecting their context. Generic feels lazy. Tailored feels like you care.
Use their own words back at them, essentially.
Yes. Second, use relevant case studies strategically. Don't just list clients. Pick examples where you achieved similar transformations for similar clients. Adapt the story. This isn't just name dropping, it's social proof. It lets them see themselves in a success story, which massively reduces their perceived risk.
Okay, so targeted proof.
And third, outline tangible outcomes. Be specific. What measurable benefits can they realistically expect? More leads, lower costs by X%, higher engagement. Vague promises are just hot air. Concrete outcomes build solid ground for trust.
Outcomes, not just outputs, like that. Okay, so we've covered understanding, we've covered value articulation, but what about the how? Point 3 for me is where ambiguity and execution can really kill confidence. A great idea is one thing, but if the proposal is fuzzy on how it all happens, that creates anxiety, right? How do proposals build trust around the actual doing?
Oh, absolutely. You've hit a nerve there. If the how is vague, it breeds uncertainty, and uncertainty is basically the opposite of trust. Clients need to feel confident in the journey, not just the destination. They need to see the path, understand their part in it, feel some sense of predictability.
So what builds that predictability and trust in the execution plan?
Okay, three things stand out. First, define clear milestones. A roadmap. A simple visual timeline with specific checkpoints, deliverables. This shows progress clearly. It reduces that what happens next anxiety.
Makes it feel manageable.
Exactly. Second, establish really clear communication protocols. How will you stay in touch? Weekly calls, monthly reports, a shared Slack channel. Be explicit. Predictable, transparent communication is fundamental. It stops guesswork, makes them feel included.
Yeah, knowing when and how they'll hear from you is huge.
Definitely. And third, outline roles and responsibilities clearly. What do you need from them? What can they expect from you? This avoids confusion, sets boundaries, and actually fosters a sense of shared ownership. Everyone knows their part.
That shared ownership piece is key. Okay, that clears up the execution part. But now, the big one, the elephant in the room. Point 4, price confusion or misalignment. Money. How does presenting the investment impact trust? It can't just be about the final number, surely?
Oh, it's absolutely not just the number, though the number matters. But pricing, if it's not handled with transparency, if it's not clearly linked to value, it can be a massive trust destroyer. Proposals often fail when they just drop a price without demonstrating the return on that investment. It makes it feel like an expense, not a strategic move. If the price feels arbitrary, like it came out of a black box, trust plummets.
Right, the black box pricing. So how do we build trust around the investment discussion?
Well, first, think about offering value-based pricing options, maybe tiers. Different levels of service or transformation aligned with different investment levels. Give them a choice that fits their specific needs and budget. This shows flexibility, it empowers them, makes it feel more collaborative.
Options are good. Shows you've thought about different needs.
Second, and this is powerful, include ROI calculations where possible. Show the potential return on their investment. Frame it financially. This shifts the conversation dramatically. It proves you're focused on their business success, not just your fee. You become a partner.
Yeah, turning cost into investment. That's smart.
And third, just be crystal clear about payment terms. Offer clear, maybe even flexible options. Make sure there are no hidden surprises down the line. Transparency here builds huge goodwill.
Excellent. Okay, so we've built understanding, shown value, clarified execution, and handled the investment transparently. But what if they're still hesitant, still uncertain? Our fifth point is neglecting explicit reassurance. Sometimes you need to actively build that bridge, right? How do you do that in the proposal?
That's a great point. It's often overlooked. We assume the logic, the value is enough. But people make decisions emotionally too, especially big ones. They need to feel secure. True trust often requires you to directly address potential fears, even the unspoken ones.
So how do you bake that reassurance right into the document?
Okay, 3 ways. First, leverage testimonials powerfully. Don't just list names. Include short, impactful success stories from clients who face similar challenges to this prospect. That third-party validation is gold.
Makes it relatable.
Very. Second, consider providing guarantees, if appropriate for your business, clearly stating your commitment. Maybe specific service level guarantees. It shows confidence in your own work and lowers their perceived risk.
Shows you have skin in the game.
Exactly. And third, detail your risk mitigation approach. Don't shy away from potential bumps in the road. Proactively explain how you handle common challenges or unexpected issues. If X happens, our process is Y. This shows you're prepared, you're experienced, you've thought it through. That builds immense confidence.
Proactive problem solving, even before the project starts. I like that.
Okay,
we're getting close. You've done all this amazing work, laid out the plan, the value, the reassurance. You've done your bit. But then what?
Point 6 is where an unclear path forward can stall everything. How do you stop the proposal just sitting there, gathering digital dust? Yeah, this is critical. Even the best proposal can fail right at the finish line if the next steps are fuzzy. Ambiguity here creates friction. It can even make you look a bit unprofessional, like you haven't thought through the final step. You've guided them this far. You need to make the final step easy and obvious.
So how do you make that path forward crystal clear and build trust right to the end?
Okay, number 1, create super clear decision pathways. Outline the simple, specific, concrete actions they need to take. Sign here, schedule a call via this link. Remove all guesswork. Make it frictionless.
Make it easy to say yes.
Exactly. Second, Include realistic response timeframes. How long is the proposal valid? What's your turnaround time once they respond? This respects their time, shows professionalism, and adds a little gentle urgency.
Right, keeps momentum.
And third, and I really like this one, add conversation prompts. Don't just say, let's discuss. Include one or two thoughtful questions in the proposal that invite a deeper conversation about specific points. It shows you want genuine dialogue and collaboration, not just a quick signature. You're interested in getting it right together.
That's a nice touch. Shifts it from a transaction to a conversation starter. Okay, final point. We've covered the big strategic pieces. But what about the details? Point 7. Sloppiness and lack of polish. Do typos and jargon really impact trust? Is it just cosmetic?
Oh, it absolutely impacts trust, maybe more than we think. It's often subconscious. The final presentation quality or lack thereof sends a powerful message: errors, confusing jargon, inconsistent formatting. It signals a lack of attention to detail. And the immediate, maybe unfair leap the client makes is, if they're sloppy here, will they be sloppy with my project? It undermines your credibility instantly.
Ouch, yeah, I can see that. So how do we ensure that final polish builds trust, not erodes it?
3 key checks. First, review relentlessly for clarity. Is the language simple, direct, free of confusing industry buzzwords? Can someone outside your field understand it easily? Clarity equals confidence.
No jargon allowed.
Basically, yes. Second, check alignment meticulously. Does every single part of the proposal, every solution, every milestone directly link back to the client's stated goals and challenges? This reinforces that you've listened, understood, and tailored everything specifically for them. It screams relevance.
Like all the dots.
Precisely. And third, proofread thoroughly. Then maybe have someone else proofread it too. This seems so basic, but it's non-negotiable. Typos, grammatical errors, inconsistencies, they just chip away at trust. A
Yeah.
polished proposal suggests a polished, professional approach to everything you do. It respects the client.
Wow. Okay, that was a comprehensive deep dive. It's so clear now, isn't it? Building trust in proposals isn't luck. It's not just good intentions. It's a system. It's deliberate. It's about deep understanding, clear value, solid planning, thoughtful reassurance, and tailoring every single bit of it to that specific client. It's about showing up as a true partner right from the very first page.
Exactly right. And maybe the bigger takeaway here, think about how these principles apply beyond the proposal document. Imagine applying the same level of intentional care, this clarity, this focus on their world to every single client interaction, from the first email to the final report. How could that transform your relationships? So maybe a thought for you, the listener, to ponder. What else in your work and your communication could benefit from this kind of deep dive into trust building? Where else could that intentional clarity and client focus make a real difference?
That's a fantastic question to mull over, a great challenge to take away. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope to have you with us for our next exploration.